Let's do it. Rocking and rolling, rocking and rolling.
I'm ready. I've got pizza. I need to eat. Let's
get into it. Let's get into it.
Hello,
welcome back to TBR Lowdown. Happy New Year. All that good stuff.
Happy New Year.
2025 is here.
It exists.
Lovely wants this. Yeah, it's
yeah. It exists. All right. Let's try to be happy about it.
We're gonna be happy. We're gonna be happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Welcome back.
Choking on my own spittle. Welcome back to TBR Lowdown, where I choke on my own saliva. Yeah. Excuse me.
Anyway, if you're new here, I'm Naomi, aka Book Lady Reads.
Oh, we're introducing ourselves. I'm Alyssa from Nerdy Nurse Reads, and we talk about books.
We talk about books. A lot. All right. So that's your brief introduction.
Speaking of, what are you reading or what have you recently finished?
I read this book called Shy Creatures by Claire Chambers. She's the author that wrote Small Pleasures, which I did read and really enjoy, I think last year or 2 years ago. And who sent this to me? Mariner Books. Thank you, Mariner Books, for this gifted copy. This was a really lovely read. So it's 1960s England, and we meet Helen. She's an unmarried art teacher in her 30s, and she teaches at this like home for the mentally challenged or whatever. And her cousin's husband also works there. And you find out right in the beginning that they have a little fling going on. So naughty girl. Well, one day they get a call. They get a call about a disturbance at this Victoria home that's nearby the hospital. And when they get there to check it out, what they find is a man in his 30s who does not speak, and his very, very frail aunt. And so from then on in the book, we're trying to figure out who this guy is, who the aunt is, what's their situation, because things seem very strange. They're trying to help William to see, is he able to talk? If he is, why hasn't he spoken in many, many years? So there's this big mystery behind who William is and what his deal is. And I gotta tell you, like, when you find out, it's really interesting. You don't even see it coming, and it's very satisfying. And along the way, we're also with Helen and her cousin's husband, and going with them through their relationship. And it was it was like a little page turner a little bit. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, it really had me, just in it. It's kind of on the edge of my seat, wanting to know what's going to happen with William and that aunt, what's going to happen with Helen and the cousin's husband. And I was shocked how into it I was. But it was all very lovely, and I had a good time with it. So pick up Shy Creatures by Claire Chambers.
Nice. You're going to be excited about what I started on the drive home today. Anyway, so I started Interpreter of Maladies today.
Yeah.
I'm not very far.
Very happy.
I'm like here. I'm like 20% of the way through, 30, 40 pages in. And I'm really enjoying it. So you might be able to describe this better than I can since you have read it, but it's essentially like they're all kind of interconnected stories about a family, and you're going from India and America and partition and seeing the relationships and all kinds of stuff. And I am so far really enjoying it. I don't have a lot to say about it. This might be my last read of the year if I can finish it today when we're done recording. I probably will. It's quite short. and I have nothing else to do tonight. It's New Year's Eve. I got nothing else to do.
Right.
So I'm going to read this. So yeah, I'm doing it. I'm finally doing it. And the smells really good, by the way.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that.
I knew that would make you happy.
Yes.
So we are here to talk about our 2025 reading schedule, book club picks. But before we do, I wanted to read out a little comment we got on Instagram from Shimon Natasha, I think is how I hate. Sometimes I hate reading screen names because you're like, where does the word end in the next one? Is that your mom? She says that we rock. Thanks, Mom. I love your mom. Now I need to go follow your mom. That's what I have to do right now. I'm now going to follow your mom.
That is
there
so
we go.
Funny. Oh,
Isn't
man.
that funny? We're going to be best friends now.
You're already part of our family.
I know. I loved my little Christmas photo. Anyway, Naomi has a lovely family, and yeah, I feel blessed to know them through you.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, we are here. We are gathered here today to discuss our 2025 book club picks.
Yeah.
We like doing this like last year. I think it's like last year. Did we have 5 books last year? Or did we have 6?
I think so. 5 or 5.
We do like 5 or 6 books. I think we take a break somewhere in the middle of the year, and then we pick
for
back
summer.
up. But we take a couple months, we read them, we can talk about them on Discord. You can join the discussion in the comments under the YouTube video. But yeah, we have some. I'm excited. I'm excited for our picks. Yeah.
Me too.
Do you want to kick it off with January and February?
Sure. All right. So the January-February pick is The Impatient by, I do not know how to pronounce his name. I'm going to spell the first name, Djaili, middle name Amado Amal. And it's translated from the Cameroonian by Emma Ramadan. Did she translate
Sphinx? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so. That was another one of our picks.
You're much better at translating, at remembering translators.
Yeah. Okay,
so it says, can't keep it all in there.
It says, little synopsis. The Impatient follows a young woman named Ramla in North Cameroon who is forced to leave school and marry a wealthy businessman despite her dreams of becoming a doctor. The story explores themes of forced marriage, polygamy, and women's rights in contemporary African society. Through Ramla's perspective and that of her co-wife, the novel examines how women navigate traditional customs, personal autonomy, and their aspirations for education and independence. This powerful narrative sheds light on the ongoing struggles against child marriage and gender inequality in the Sahel region. So that's our pick for January and February.
I'm going to hazard a guess that it's translated from French or some derivation of French. So that's definitely a you pick, and I'm very excited for it. Because I hadn't found that. This is kind of the fun part. It's like we both dump a bunch of stuff in, and like there's some interesting things that come out of it. You're like,
it's fun, but it's difficult because there was another one that you put on there that travel memoir. I wanted that one too.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things in here. Maybe next time. Anywho, so for March and April, we have Women Without Men by Shaharnush Persipur. It's from Iran, and it's translated by Faroudan Farouk. I probably said all of those wrong, and I'm terribly sorry. But Women Without Men is a groundbreaking novella that weaves magical realism with Iranian cultural critique. The story follows 5 women from different social backgrounds who escape oppressive circumstances by finding refuge in a mystical garden outside of Tehran through surreal and symbolic narratives. Parsipur, maybe closer, explores themes of female autonomy, sexuality, and resistance against patriarchal structures in Iranian society. Each woman's journey represents different forms of liberation from forced marriage, social constraints, and traditional expectations. It was initially banned in Iran for its feminist themes and frank discussions of women's experiences, and it masterfully combines Persian literary traditions with contemporary feminist discourse, creating a powerful allegory about women's quest for independence and self-realization.
So good.
It's really short, but I feel like it's going to be really good, like really impactful.
So good. I'm so excited. Okay. Our read from May-June is Moonbath by Yannick Lahens, and it's translated, I think, again from the French by Emily
Creole.
Gogalek. Okay, it says Moonbath follows 3 generations of women in rural Haiti, centered around the Lafleur family. The story begins with the discovery of a young woman's body on a beach and unfolds through a lyrical narrative that weaves together family history, Haitian folklore, and political upheaval. Through the lives of these women, particularly grandmother Almane and granddaughter, I don't know how to say that, Setut? That's probably wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Lahans explores the themes of poverty, violence, spirituality, and survival in Haiti's complex social and political landscape. The novel masterfully incorporates voodoo beliefs and practices while examining the impact of dictatorship and foreign intervention on rural communities. It's the winner of the Prix Femina 2014. The book is celebrated for its poetic prose and profound exploration of Haiti's cultural memory and resilience. This one's been on my shelves for a really long time.
Yeah, this is another Naomi addition to the list. I feel like I put too many on this list actually this year. But when you have 5, somebody has to put too many on the list.
That's right.
The next one, I wonder if this actually Moonbath, is it French or Creole? I'm not sure. We should look and see which one is.
I'll look while you talk.
So we take a break in August, okay? No book.
July, August, right? July, August. We don't read August. Yeah,
we relax. September, October, we have the Inhabited Woman by Gioconda Belli, and she's from Nicaragua, and it's translated by Kathleen March. So The Uninhabited Woman is a powerful feminist novel that blends magical realism again with political revolution. The story follows Lavinia, a modern-day architect from a privileged background in Nicaragua, who becomes possessed by the spirit of an indigenous woman warrior from the colonial area named Itza. Through this dual narrative, Belli explores themes of female empowerment, political awakening, and the resistance against oppression. As Lavinia becomes increasingly involved in revolutionary activities against a dictatorial regime, Itza's ancient wisdom and warrior spirit guide her journey. It masterfully weaves Nicaragua's historical struggle against Spanish colonizers with contemporary fights for democracy, while it examines women's roles in social movements and the ongoing legacy of indigenous resistance. I've had this on my shelves for decades at this point, and I was like, yeah, we got to put this on. I got to get it. And when you messaged me and were like, this book looks so good, I was like,
yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know. I feel like it's so old now. It's like obscure. I'm really excited to read
when
this.
you put it on the list and I looked up, I was like, oh yeah, this
I don't even
has
think
to be on the list.
I don't even think this has an ebook. I think this is like, you're gonna have to find a physical copy of this. This is old.
Yeah.
This is an old book.
It's our September, October pick, so you got time to track it down. I'm very excited about that one. All right. And then our last pick of 2025 for November, December is The Passion According to GH by Clarice Lispector, translated from the Spanish by...
Portuguese.
Portuguese, by Idra Novi. The Passion According to GH is a philosophical novel that follows a wealthy Brazilian woman's profound existential crisis triggered by an encounter with a cockroach in her maid's empty room. The protagonist, known only as GH, experiences a radical transformation of consciousness as she confronts the raw existence of the insect. Through stream of consciousness narrative, Lispector explores themes of identity, existence, spirituality, and the nature of being. The novel challenges conventional narrative structures and delves deep into questions of human nature, social class, and the boundaries between self and other. Written in 1964, this work is considered one of Lispector's masterpieces and a landmark of Brazilian modernist literature, known for its intense psychological exploration and philosophical depth. Very psyched for that. Very excited. Let me just say, I am super, super psyched about our picks for 2025.
I think it's a good list.
I do too.
I think that there's some things on here that maybe you've never heard of or that don't get talked about a lot. I think it's going to be interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think if anyone's read any of these, tell us. I think probably Men Without Women and The Passion According to GH probably are the most well known, maybe, of all the books that are on here.
I mean, let's Spectre for sure, because everyone's kind of reading her right now.
Yeah. But I love it. I love it so much. This is a great list.
Yes.
And there's some good runners up that can be contenders for next year. Yeah. There's some interesting stuff in here.
Yeah, just that travel one that you put on there. That's
Is that The Woman in Polar Night? I think.
Yes.
That one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That one did sound really good.
I'm very excited. So join our Discord. We promise we'll be more active in there for these book clubs. Join that Discord. We create a channel for each book. So get in there and chat about what you think about these books as you're reading them. I'm wondering, now I think about that on my own. Anyway, yeah. So those are our picks for 2025. Read with us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I have to get my hands on a few of these. But yeah.
I have to get my hands on all of them except Moonbath. So
I have the Inhibited Woman, I want to say Uninhibited, but the Inhibited Woman. I think I have The Passion According to GH. If I don't, like, who cares? I believe I have an ebook of Good Women Without Men. So
yeah. So that's exciting. So
I've got to get The Impatient.
Right. Same.
We're behind. All right.
A little bit.
All right. So let's make this episode quick so Naomi and I can do some shopping.
Right. Exactly. So the other thing I just want to mention is, yes, we are going into, I think, our 4th annual 12 Women, 12 Countries reading challenge. The details are on our website. It is a good way for you to read women in translation from all around the world. If you go to Instagram, I put in the hashtag 12 Women, 12 Countries, you'll see a lot of people sharing what they've read for that challenge. It is also on Storygraph if you want to track it for yourself there. And again, always on our website. Actually, on our website, we also have some of our episodes that we've talked about, Women in Translation, linked if you need some book recs. And then I also think I have linked on there because we have a page on bookshop.org. And we've got a couple of book lists for Women in Translation, and those are also on that page. So go to our website, TBR Lowdown, click on Reading Challenge, and you should see all that good information there if you want some good recs. So join us in that reading challenge.
And if
we love Women in Translation over here.
If you read with us this year, you've got 5 of them already done.
Boom. That's right.
So.
Yep. That's that.
Yeah. Anyway,
so.
It's a book recommendation time?
It is. Who's going first?
Do you have a book? Yes, I do. You go first.
Now, listen, this is very exciting because this book here makes me an Elena Ferrante completist.
Oh, God.
I know.
What's she going to do now?
Reread them. Reread them, baby. This is Frontomaglia, A Writer's Journey by Elena Ferrante. Again, don't read this if you have not read all of her fiction. Many things will be spoiled. Now, this is a great book because what it is a lot of interviews that she's done. And if anyone doesn't know about Elena Ferrante, she does not disclose like who she is. You don't know what she looks like. She stays away. So
she might be a man.
I'm starting to think she's not or whatever. But so she tends to do a lot of written interviews,
Mm-hmm.
or if there are things like in-person interviews, she'll have someone else speak on her behalf. So this book basically is like a roundup of not just interviews that she's done for different magazines and newspapers, but also like there's this like a literary radio show in Italy where readers call in and ask questions. That transcript is in here. Letters between she and her editors are in here. Her debut novel called Troubling Love was made into a film, and her conversations between her and that filmmaker are in here. So it's just really great to kind of see how she converses with other people about her work and to get her thoughts. And also, it's nice to read those interviews that these other magazines and whatnot have had over the years. So they were really smart in compiling all these things and keeping them for this book. And again, just gives you more insight into who she is. And I felt so happy reading this. I got like teary eyed because I just really respect the fact that she she makes it very clear in several interviews that like it's not anonymity. Like she clearly says it's Elena Ferrante who's writing these books, but she says I choose to be absent. I choose to be absent from the typical press tours and whatnot. She's like the writing is enough. The writing is enough, and I really respect the fact that she stood firm in that decision and has not allowed the pressure. And from reading these interviews, there has been pressure for her to reveal who she is, and I respect the fact that she has not done so.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, if you read all of her fiction books, pick this up. Frantomaglia, A Writer's Journey by Elena Ferrante. Oh, and of course, always translated from the Italian by Anne Goldstein. What about you, my lady?
Wouldn't it be funny if it was actually AI?
I would die. I would die.
Anyway,
I feel such a strong connection to this writer. It's ridiculous.
And if you found out that it was AI, it would be like,
I would be like,
stop
game
reading.
over. It's curtains. It's curtains. It's curtains.
Anywho, that would be a funny twist of fate.
Yeah.
So this might not show up well because of the lighting, but The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. I finally read this and I loved this. I think this is phenomenal. And there's a mini series that was made of this, which is a little bit divergent in areas from the main text, but I still really liked it. I think that I'm stuck in this chair. I think that the choices that they made, like I kind of get why they made those, but that's not the point. We're talking about the book. It's my first Anne Bronte. Absolutely loved it. You have oh my god, why can I never remember anybody's goddamn name? Thankfully, they have this handy character map in my edition. Okay. So you have Helen, who is we open with her. She's living in this like kind of decrepit place alone with her son and her maid. And everybody in this little town is like, what is up with this woman? She's like, they're all very intrigued by her because this is not like the typical thing. Like, what happened to her husband? Why is she here? Why does she choose to live in this sort of sad place? She doesn't really interact with anybody. She doesn't want to interact with anybody. But eventually, like, people, like, she's got to interact with the town around her because she's very religious. She finally goes to church. She's there for like a little bit before she goes to church. She goes to church, and once that happens, now she has to kind of socialize with everybody in this town. And there's one of the people in this town is Gilbert Markham, and there's also a Frederick Lawrence in this town. And Frederick Lawrence owns the house that she's living in. Gilbert and Helen strike up a friendship that turns into more in many ways, but Helen's got a lot of secrets, stuff's going on, and eventually Helen like gives Gilbert her diary and he reads it and it explains everything that's happened to her because Helen is married to this man, Arthur, who is just absolutely horrible.
Mm.
He drinks, he's abusive, all of his friends are drunks, and many of them are abusive to their wives. She marries him for love, and it turns sour very rapidly. He has lots of affairs. He's just horrible, like absolutely horrible. She tries to survive in the marriage, and eventually she, through the help of her brother, who is actually Frederick Lawrence, um, helps smuggle her out of the house with her son and her maid, and he sets her up in this place, but they're not revealing that they're related in any way. So that causes tension in the town because her brother will show up in the middle of the night in this little podunk village, and people start whispering that she's having some illicit affair with somebody, but it's actually her brother. And anyway, so it's just a story of this woman and her life with this horrible man. There is love and redemption at the end, but it deals with like incredibly dark themes for a Victorian novel, especially a Victorian novel written by a woman. It's lovely. I absolutely adored it. I think it's some of like the Jesus-y stuff is like you gotta just gotta take it in stride because like it's the time period. But I loved it. I loved it so much. I could not stop reading it. I needed to know what happened next. I needed to know what this man did to her. I needed to know how she gets out of it. She's got to get out of it. There's got to be a way she gets out of this and actually gets to be happy. I was so nervous that she wasn't going to be happy, that it was going to end in tragically. And thank God she gets like some amount of happiness after all of this trauma. It's so good. And now I need to read Agnes Grey. I loved it.
Well, it's funny because I planned on reading that this year with the copy that you threw in my cart one of those times we were at the bookstore. So thank you. So yeah, I'll have to get to that this year for sure.
You will, and we should talk about it because it's really quite wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, well then I should read it soon then while it's still fresh in your head.
Is anything ever fresh in my head? I need you to understand what the last, since December 8th, I have read so many books because I'm in the middle of like a little remember I told you I was doing a reading thing with my friend? And it's like it's a battle. There's teams. Okay. There's points.
That's still, wait, how long is that going on?
It's 6 weeks long. We're halfway through.
Okay.
And last week I did not pull my weight last week. Okay. So I have to come back strong this week.
Yes, you do.
So nothing is going to be fresh in my mind by the time I'm done. But Terra Nostra got me a lot of points. Okay. So
I bet it did.
That was my big book. It's all little books from here on out.
Oh my, that sounds like fun. I'm glad you're enjoying that.
It is really fun. And you know what? The annoying part of it is that there's prompts. And so I'm getting to the point where like I'm tired of reading books that meet these prompts. And they're not like bad prompts. They're pretty broad, but I'm getting I want to read a few other things, and I'm like, but they don't fit any prompts.
Right.
3 more weeks. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
3 more weeks.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, if I may make an announcement, some of you may know that my accidental book club that I started called the Chunky Books Club.
Read Terra Nostra.
It was on Instagram as a broadcast channel. That is no longer because I hate the broadcast channel for a book club. I just feel like I'm talking into a void. I hate it. So a couple of weeks ago, I created that book club on Fable. So that is where we are. If you want to join the Chunky Books Club, we read books that are 500 plus pages and we read across genre. So our first book for 2025 is The Terror by Dan Simmons. So come on over to Fable, join the Chunky Books Club, and read those chunky books with us. Boom.
I see, I want to get into Fable, but I don't know if I can do another app.
Well, I've had Fable on my phone for a long time. I've had it on my phone for like 3 years. And I've posted here and there. But now that I've created the book club over there, I was like, okay, now I've got to be active over here because it just feels weird to host a club over there, but not be active with the community over. It just feels weird. So now I'm posting over there. Yeah.
Well, good luck with that journey.
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about announcements on our personal things.
Absolutely.
So over on my Substack, which you can find probably in the description, I am starting in January, which is now, my year with Edith Wharton. Last year, I read all six major completed works of Jane Austen, along with another creator over on Instagram. Like, she hosted this thing. I was just a person participating in it, and that person was Dickinson Docs. So if you want to go follow them, they're great. They're wonderful. And it inspired me to start my own. So we are reading technically 7 Edith Wharton novels throughout 2025. We are starting with The House of Mirth. There's a very slow reading schedule posted. We're reading it over 2 months. You can read it as quickly as or as slowly as you would like. You can jump in at any point. You're going to read it quickly, so you can just jump in. There's plenty of time to get caught up as January and February roll on.
Yeah.
And I'll be posting some things throughout as we're reading. I'll try to stick to the reading schedule so I don't spoil anything should people actually follow it to the letter for some reason. But yeah, so that's happening. I've got some ideas already turning around in my head. I've been reading a lot of literary criticism and biographies and essays. And it's like my own little class, I guess it's turning into. Somebody commented and said it feels like I'm in night school, and I was like,
I love that. I'm going to join in because I've got some Wharton books I haven't read, so I'll be joining in myself. So I'm excited for that.
Jump in where you want. There's a reading schedule for the year. So yeah, that's my big project for the year.
I love it. So. I love it. Yeah.
Anywho,
all right.
My dinner is cold.
Okay, well we're done. We did well.
We're done.
All right, folks. Do well. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. And follow us everywhere at TBR Lowdown. Visit our website, tbrlowdown.com. Everything about what we've got going on with the book club, with our annual reading challenge is all there. Anyway, since we're in a new year, you know, I'm gonna start out slow with asking you to recommend our podcast to friends. Let's just start out with 5 friends. Okay.
5
friends.
Just
know I'm gonna amp that number up as we get along. I'm gonna amp that number up. But for now, just 5 friends.
It's one for each of the books we're reading next year.
I like that. All right. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, and leave a review. Thank you very much. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. We are out of here in this new year. Bye.